Hello everyone, and welcome to another bulletin from Solid Gold. I'm bringing you this bulletin from the grounds of Howick Hall. I'm up here today doing some drone footage for them. I think I can announce the normal service on the channel has been resumed. Episode 8, version 3 seems to be stable and attracting no copyright issues. I think we've sorted that, thank goodness. And thank you for all your support, by the way. Quite ironically, it's actually got more views now in the 3 or 4 days since we had the problem than Holy Island's got. So again, thank you for that. As I say, normal service has been resumed, I hope, but fingers crossed. So normal service being successfully resumed, it is now safe to post episode 12. And that will be released on Friday the 29th of September at 6 p.m. Plenty of time to watch it before you go to bed. It's quite a long episode. It's about 1 hour 25 minutes long, bumper episode, but as I say, it is the final one. And for me, it's quite sad because it's taken up a whole year, a huge amount of cost, both in money terms, but also in time and effort. But of course, nothing's ever worth it unless you put the effort in the first place. So I have enjoyed it, and it's certainly helped the channel to grow, so worth the effort. But it will be sad to, see it up there for the final time. However, the future goes on and the new projects are already underway for release. Some of them will be released later this year, but the majority will be released next year, of course. So before I leave the subject of this year, some other good news is I've discovered a company called Tune Tank, and they seem to be producing short pieces of music but non-copyright, and specifically for creators like myself to use. So they do have quite a few tunes that I can use. It's not fantastic, but it's okay. It's not as bad as the YouTube audio library. And like I said before, really, if the amount of effort that goes into the films I make, and as you know, I'm very passionate about them, it needs a good piece of music to go with it. Because if you put a rubbish piece of music on a good film, it'll make it very mediocre. So it is important. But as I say, this Tune Tank company, the only downside is they're very short. They're only a minute, 2 minutes. So it means to cover an average fly sequence, which can be 3, 4, even 5 minutes long, you've got to keep repeating the music. So that's the only downside, but it seems to be reasonable quality, and at least it'll provide some music going forward. As I said before, the Northumberland Bells, mother and daughter duo, have agreed to produce some original music for future films. But I'm not sure if they'll be able to go at the same pace that I do. I mean, you can't just sit down and magic a song out of the ether. I know some people do, but you know, I can't put that demand on them. It'll come whenever they can produce something. And then, of course, it's further complicated by the fact that I have to go and record them performing that piece of music in order to be able to use it on the film. So it's doubling my work, if you like. So for the time being, at least for the next few months into the early part of next year, I'm going to be using this this library from TuneTank until it runs out, and then we'll have to see you know, what else we can find. So what else is coming for next year? Well, there's at least two more posts coming up later this year, October and November. And as I said before, these are just going to be fly films, so no commentary. And I'm basically putting out, I think it'll be in two parts, because I think it's going to be too big for one episode. And it's I'm simply flying up the coast from the River Tyne this time, right up to the Tweed. So it's entitled The Tyne to the Tweed. And it's just purely the drone footage. There's some new footage in there. It's not a repeat of what you've already seen. But if you want something just to relax to, maybe chill out, or in an evening with a glass of wine, it's going to be perfect for that. So that's something that's coming. As I already said earlier in the week, there's some promotional films coming up for the Northumbrian Bells. They'll be out on location in Northumberland as well, so that's a little bit of something different to look forward to. You might wonder what's happened to the lifeboat series. Well, I can tell you that's almost dead in the water, if you pardon the pun, because, as I said before, there was just so much red tape, it wasn't worth the effort. And as I said, you know, I would have thought that getting this for free, they would have snapped it up, but they seemed to see it as a hindrance rather than a help. So I don't really think that's going to happen at all. And I've sort of lost the passion for it already. So as I say, that's end of, finished. There are some new projects underway, as I've just said. I spent all of last night with some new research. And what I've been able to do in the last of the good weather before, you know, well, I'm standing here today, but I can tell you that the air feels autumnal already. So I think we can wave goodbye to the decent weather. And as I've said before, I'm repeating myself, I know, the drone that I have is too small to cope with strong winds. And although you get some nice sunny days in autumn, you get a wind, and that means that, you know, drone flights are just impossible. And again, that's the reason why I want to purchase a bigger drone which has greater wind resistance. However, before the weather started to turn, I was able to film the coastline from the River Tyne up to the south end of Northumberland. So the north half, if you like, of the county of Tyne and Wear, which sits immediately below Northumberland. And I've decided that, okay, last year I did the North Yorkshire coast. This year I've done the Northumberland coast. So I really need to do the bit in the middle. Now, I know nobody's pushing me to do that, nobody's requested that, but I just feel that I would be missing out by not including that. And it does have some interesting history. It doesn't have the same beautiful beaches that Northumberland has. So this will have a slightly different, maybe more industrial slant to it, but nevertheless interesting. And of course, you know, there's quite the Durham coastline has quite a just as interesting history as Northumberland. So that's what I've decided to do, or one of the projects that I've decided to do. And because I've already done the drone flights for the northern section, I can put out the first few episodes. There are 12 locations, I can already tell you. And it begins, as I said, on the south border of Northumberland, where the borough of North Tyneside begins. So that's Seaton Sluice for people living in Northumberland. And then it works its way all the way south to a place called Seaton Carew, which is just south of Hartlepool. And then, of course, after that, you're into that section of coastline that I covered last year. Now, I can tell you straight away, this series of episodes that's going to come does not include the cities, i.e. Middlesbrough, Sunderland, Newcastle. And that is because another project that I've decided to do, so rather than just do one project next year, I've decided to do 3 and mix and match depending on the weather, depending on how busy one area gets to another. So the second project will be the main rivers of the northeast. So the Tees, the Wear, the Tyne, and then work my way up through Northumberland again with the River Blythe, maybe even the Wansbeck, the Coquet, the Aln, and finally the Tweed. And my aim is, and I don't think this will be done in a year, not at all. So this is going to be an ongoing project, maybe over the next few years. But my aim is that if I'm fit enough to cover the river, those rivers from source to the estuary. So you can see straight away there that the likes of Middlesbrough will be covered when I do the Tees, Sunderland will be covered when I do the Wear, Newcastle and North Shields in particular will be done on the River Tyne and so on. So this immediate new project is concentrating on the coastal towns and villages, but omitting the cities for that reason. The third project, which will be started probably in the spring of next year, is I thought I would revisit the borders of Northumberland, the northern border that is, with Scotland. I did it in the Castle series, and I did one, a sort of a very quick visit to the borders in the trilogy that I released in 2020. But basically I was just skipping through towns and villages, giving little sort of snippets of information. But I thought it was worth maybe revisiting some of those places and some new places like Greenlaw and Duns, north of the border, and going into it in a bit more depth as I've done this year and last year. So those are all in the process. As I've said, I've already started writing the scripts for for those projects, and that will keep me busy over the winter. So that's all to look forward to in the coming months and years, because like I said, some of those projects are going to be massive and they'll take several months to film because, as I say, you've got to rely on the weather You can't go tramping up into the Cheviot Hills in the depths of winter. Well, some people can, but I can't. I'm just not fit enough to do that now. Anyway, that's that. So that's all for you to look forward to. And finally, because I've had requests already, I thought I would put it out there that if you wish to book me for a guided tour of anywhere, whether it be North Yorkshire, Durham, Northumberland, Howick Hall, wherever you need, if you would like to visit the area but you don't know quite where to start. I know a lot of people have written to me and they're using the videos that I've produced already to plan the holidays. But then having arrived here, it's like, how do you find that place? And well, you know, is it best to go to that place first and then the other? So as I said, I'm offering, if you wish to have a guided tour of anything that I've talked about in my videos, then please get in touch and let me know. I would be more than happy to meet with you and take you on your journey and make the most of your visit to the northeast. So, as you can probably hear in the background, the garden staff have started up their strimmers. They're busy cutting all the grass back for the winter. So at that point I shall end the bulletin. Wish you all goodbye. Look out for the episode 12. It is a good one. I'm sure you'll all enjoy it. And I will see you all very soon in the next presentation. Goodbye for now.